And in item 55 through 60 talks about charity, and we'll briefly cover this. Item 55 says, charity is the supreme law of Christ. Love one another, love your neighbor as yourselves, forgive your enemies, do not do unto others what you would not like for them to do unto you. All this may be summed up in the word charity. Obviously, if we're loving someone else, that means we're loving God, because that someone else, our brother or our sister, was created by the Father, just as we were. He's a son or a daughter of the Father. So in loving Him, we're loving God. In loving ourselves, we're loving God. So in loving Him above all else, by definition, that means we have to love everything beneath Him. Everything beneath it, this supreme intelligence that we talked about in the first video of this series, Introduction to Spiritism. So loving God above all else means we love all of His creation, everything contained with it, because everything was created by His supreme intelligence, by its supreme intelligence. Charity does not, item 56 says, charity does not consist only in almsgiving, for there is charity in thoughts, words, and deeds. Those who are charitable in thought are tolerant toward the faults of their neighbor. Those who are charitable in words say nothing that might harm their neighbor. Those who are charitable in deeds assist their neighbor to the best of their ability. So it isn't just in giving material things to others. Obviously, we can do charity through many ways. Sometimes if somebody's having a problem, we just listen. Listening is a type of charity. We let them vent. We let them go on and leave whatever is within them out. Let it out so they can feel better. Sometimes someone may accumulate many things within them, and when we give them the window to open up their frustrations and leave them outside of their own inner home, then they will feel better. And that is a charity that we may do. So again, it is in the thoughts as well, not just in words and deeds. So if we think kindly towards others, then we're emanating good energies to them, even though we may not realize it. And others who are sensitive to this will feel that as well. And they will be amicable to us because of this. But when we start to think negative things of others, we're not being charitable. We're being critical. We're judging. And who are we to judge? Who are we to point out the dust or the speck of dust in someone else's eye when we have a plank in our own, as the Christ already taught us? So we first need to point the fingers to ourselves before we point it to anyone else. But in this sense here, we have to be charitable. We have to always think of this and always help others in any way we can, within our means, of course. Item 57 says, poor individuals who share their piece of bread with someone even poorer are more charitable than have more merit in God's eyes than those who give of their surplus without depriving themselves of anything. If we have a lot and we give a little bit of the lot that we have, yes, we're being charitable, we're doing something good. But when we don't have much and we give of what we did not have, it means a lot more, because we're letting go of something that perhaps would be useful to us, and not just of something that is in abundance for us that we no longer need, that is perhaps taking too much room in our home, in our closets, and we just simply give it away to someone so we can have more space to get more things to replace those older things with newer things. So that isn't really charity in a sense. It is just, I need to get rid of this old thing so I can get something new. But in reality, we have to give what we can. It doesn't mean that we have to suffer to give everything that we have, so we ourselves suffer as a result because we don't have anything. But we do have to give as much as we can within the right amount, within our means. So if somebody doesn't have a lot of money but still gives them charity and gives someone else some type of charity, whether it be material or not, they're doing plenty. They're doing a lot more than somebody who has in abundance and in excess. So let's reflect on that. Item 58 says, those that nourish sentiments of animosity, hatred, jealousy, and rancor towards their neighbor are not charitable. They lie if they call themselves Christian and they offend God. Well, God cannot really be offended. This is just the text itself, so we can understand what the passage means, and for most people to comprehend what this means. But if we really think about it, if God is supremely just, it is this entity that's supremely just and good, it is never offended, because it knows that we are in the learning process of this incessant evolution. So if we err in our ways, God sees the divine seed in us and sees who we will be tomorrow, that we will be another co-creator in this wonderful cosmos, that we will be someday among the ranks of the kind spirits that help us, that guide us in this universe, in this life, in our many lives. And then we will be assisting him, assisting it, the Supreme Intelligence, in carrying out the right duties and the responsibilities that help to organize this wonderful machine known as the cosmos, as the universe. So he sees in us, or it sees in us, what we truly are, the children of divinity, that we have the divine essence within us. So we have to always think about that, because that is who we are. Not who we are today, not who the ID that we carry say we are, but we are so much more than that. Item 59 says, you of all social classes, all religious sects, all skin colors, are all brothers and sisters because God calls all of you to Him. Therefore, reach out your hand to one another, whatever your manner of worshiping Him may be, and do not anathematize one another, because it is a violation of the law of charity proclaimed by Christ. This is the wonderful thing about Spiritism, because it sheds the material cover, the corporeal envelope from humanity, and shows us who we truly are, spirits, free and liberated spirits who have been given a chance here in the school on this earth to progress and to continue on in their evolution. But we have to remember that races, sex, age, nothing matters, because all of us are millenary spirits who carry within themselves records of many existences. So who are we to judge others? Who are we to look down upon another race, when perhaps in the past we were part of that race? Who are we to make fun of someone who has some disability, when perhaps we were that very someone with that disability in some other existence? So all the inequalities all of a sudden become equal. Everything becomes leveled when we look at life through the Spiritist doctrine, through the Spiritist perspective. And thus, we begin to love one another as Christ taught us to love one another. Because in shedding the exterior cover, the exterior envelope, we see who we truly are. There are no more masks that society may cover us, our true essence, with. There is only the we, the us, the spirit that we truly are. That display, the spirit that has gained its virtues, its morals, its faculties, its intellect, its intelligence, the things that it's gained throughout its successive existences. So we have to remember this. There is no need for hatred. There is no need for discord. There is no need for conflict. Because why are we quarreling with someone somewhere else? Whether it be in our neighborhood, in another city, in another country. When perhaps in the past or in the future, that person with whom we're quarreling, or that people, that race with whom we're quarreling, will be part of our own family in the future, or was part of our family in the past. We have to always remember this. So this reality doesn't place us above anyone else or beneath anyone else. It levels everyone out, because we've all had many experiences in many different situations and in many different positions, in many different genders, either female or male, in many different epochs of humanity. So we have to always think of this and reflect on this, and thus live peacefully and accepting the things of the world as they are, because it helps us. Nothing is done without the approval of divinity. So we have to always remember that and trust, so we can continue forward with our heads held up high in this march of evolution. And to finish, item 60 says, with selfishness, people are in constant struggle with one another. With charity, they will be at peace, what I just talked about. Only by basing their institutions on charity can they be assured of happiness in this world. According to Christ's words, only charity can assure their future happiness, for it implicitly entails all the virtues that can lead to perfection. Obviously, a relative perfection, because if we were truly perfect, we'd be as perfect as the Father. And if we can be as perfect as the Father, then the Father is no longer the Supreme Father. So it is a relative perfection. By means of true charity, such as the kind taught and practiced by Christ, there will be no more selfishness, pride, hatred, jealousy, or defamation. There will be no more disorderly attachment to worldly assets. This is why Christian Spiritism holds to the maxim, and by Christian it is according to the moral teachings of Christ, not in the religious sense, because Christ established no religion. He established a moral behavior, a cosmic behavior, to stamp our passports in this life through love, so we can leave this station and go on to greater things, following in his footsteps. So this is why Christian Spiritism holds to the maxim, without charity, there is no salvation. And that concludes the chapter. And then at the end of the book, there is a small essay written by Kardec to incentivize us to continue forward, continuing on, studying Spiritism, learning more about it. It is motivational, inspirational, and it really, truly supports and buttresses this wonderful philosophy known as Spiritism. It's a short 3-page message from Kardec, and it's worth reading and reflecting upon it. So I invite you all to purchase the book, to read the entire book, so you can accompany the study, read that little passage, and we'll see you all in our next series, in our next video. This concludes the Introduction to Spiritism series by utilizing the book Spiritism in its Simplest Expression. And now we'll move forward to another work from Kardec, where we'll talk more about the principles of Spiritism and perhaps incentivize you, as Kardec did in his small passage, to continue on with your studies and perhaps participate with us in leaving your comments, your suggestions, your questions on our Facebook page, or perhaps sending us a private message that's also suggesting us something new, or suggesting to us something different, something new. Everything is welcome. All comments are welcome. All feedback is welcome. So thank you so much. And once again, may God bless you all, and may Jesus guide you all in your footsteps. And I hope you all have a wonderful, blessed day, evening, night. It does not matter. Whatever it is, may it be blessed. Thank you so much, and I'll see you all next time. Thank you.